the ceasefire agreement and the dawn of a new Middle East. In October 2025, a US-brokered ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas was implemented, which President Trump hailed as the historic dawn of a new Middle East. Times the hostage or prisoner exchange. The deal involved the release of the last 20 living Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza, as well as the return of the bodies of 28 others. In exchange, Israel agreed to release 250 Palestinian prisoners, some serving life sentences, and about 1,700 Gazans detained during the war. Times a painful nightmare is over. President Trump framed the agreement as a definitive end to the conflict, stating, "The long and painful nightmare is finally over for both Israelis and Palestinians." Times International Ceremony. The deal was formally signed at a summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, attended by numerous world leaders, where Trump was awarded Egypt's highest honor, the Order of the Nile. Trump's 20-point peace plan. Key highlights. The ceasefire was the first phase of a broader 20-point plan for Gaza. The table below summarizes its most critical elements. Point of focus: key provisions. Gaza's future governance: a temporary, technocratic Palestinian committee, overseen by an international board of peace chaired by Trump, will run Gaza's day-to-day affairs. Security and demilitarization. Hamas must agree to disarm and have no future role in governing Gaza. A temporary International Stabilisation Force, ISF, will deploy to maintain security. Rebuilding and economy: a major focus on rebuilding Gaza's devastated infrastructure and establishing a special economic zone to create jobs, opportunity, and hope. Long-term political horizon. The plan hints at a future credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, but links it to the completion of Palestinian Authority reforms. Reactions and fact-check: a spectrum of views. The deal and the president's speech elicited strong and varied reactions, which you can use to add depth to your video analysis. Time celebration in Israel. In Israel, Trump received a hero's welcome. Netanyahu called him the greatest friend Israel ever had in the White House. Families of hostages celebrated the return of their loved ones. Times international praise. The plan received widespread official support from leaders worldwide, including the UK, France, Germany, Canada, and several Arab nations, who welcomed Trump's leadership and the chance for peace. Times critical perspectives and omissions. Times Palestinian statehood. The plan does not explicitly commit to or outline a sovereign Palestinian state, which critics and many world leaders see as essential for a lasting peace. Times Palestinian rights. Trump's speech was noted for its brief and conditional message to Palestinians, focusing on stability, safety, and dignity without acknowledging Israeli atrocities or the decades of occupation that underpin the conflict.